Mama always said, if you want to know the truth, go between the legs of a blue dragon to find out what's really going on. Okay, as promised, a surprise like no other. This is the amazing, the spectacular, and the new addition to not only my life, but Olympic Strange Days, the amazing Alicia P. Hello, as I call her, Allie. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Having Allie along for all the future episodes is going to be a benefit, not only for me just personally, because it encourages my crazy side, and I don't know if we need more of that in life, but you're going to get it. And we're in a crazy spot here. This seemed fitting. I mean, we're looking for synchronicity and going along the highway. I was like, synchronicity is happening right now. And it's happening with this glyph, only you don't know it yet. Like, it's really damn close to the mystery we're about ready to go back and visit. Some 1 year and 2 months ago, I got an email from someone on the Olympic project regarding kind of a Sasquatch sighting, although they didn't really call it a Sasquatch. They called it a black demon. That was the quote. We'll talk more about this in a second here, how that might be related. Maybe it's just me being hyperbolic and looking too far down the rabbit's hole. That's probably true, but Allie will keep me in line. What do you think of this crazy place, also known as Troll Haven?
Yeah. I did not expect this to be on the side of the road.
Nobody really knows about it because it's not advertised like so many cool things in Washington, but you can see the raking. They really do take great care of at least this meditation garden. Within the center here is this Coco Pele. I think it's like the trickster god. And this is really close, as I said, to what we're going to be talking about today. We'll say the name when we get there, to the place where I found a very similar image or visage in the sand related to this Bigfoot sighting that may not have been a Bigfoot sighting. Allie, you kind of were drawn to this one. I can see why, because we're like, do we open up here with this image? And then we saw two bunnies frolic. I'll put that clip in here now. That was nice to see. I think it was like a male and female bunny, house bunnies frolicking in the grass. You feel like you're in storybook land here. I think that's the point.
Yeah.
But this is like a female and male image here. The female looks larger.
Yeah, she does.
And they're 3-fingered with like tripod feet. And this bow and arrow looks like a craft to me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stars above them. In a dome for Rich Germeau. They are in a dome, just like you said. Proof. This would be like the Celtic cross, is that right?
It looks very Celtic. Another man and woman.
Is it? Yeah, yeah. Entwined, maybe like the story of creation, Adam and Eve, the serpent touting its way. What did you think of this form here?
Just reminds me of like the totems.
Upright ears.
Yeah.
I know that Kathy Moskowitz Strain of Cannibals, Monsters, I forget the other name she used. It's a book she wrote about Sasquatch and Native American lore. But she has this image in here too. It may hail from that part of California. The eyes do pull you in though.
They do.
As you go along here, it's just kind of getting crazier and crazier. I don't know what he's up to, but that's a pretty wild one. And now we're over here like in Cernunnos country. I don't know if anybody's looked into some of these other gods, but Cernunnos comes up periodically as well, like a horned, elk-horned god like Pan. So it's very god and goddess rich. This is kind of cool. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Like a mixing bowl.
Well, and the fertility stuff ties back into what we're talking about at the other place, too.
Yes.
He's a sign of fertility. Oh, that messes with my...
Wow. Well, there you go. This is kind of like getting close to what that guide described. Now, there was a witness that described seeing something near the river in this initial Bigfoot report, and he did not call it a Sasquatch. He described it looking like a monster or a black demon. And he said one thing for sure is that the arms and the hands were loping almost down to the ankles.
Very lizardy eyes, or snake eyes, kind of.
Yeah. Where they got the hand, as a carver here, I'm kind of digging how they did this single log. Wow. We were gonna come up and take a peek. Now the main house is right there, probably the owners. But if you wanted to rent this, wouldn't you want to see it up close and personal? Hello?
Do you rent the whole house?
You can rent the whole house.
Jeez.
Oh, look at this drainage system here.
Oh, wow. Oh, lion.
Oh, synchronicity.
Synchronicity.
Okay, so we're going to talk more about the relevance of the lion or the lion's head. I don't know if anyone can see this in here. It's pretty expansive. Dinner bell. If you want to feed your dragon. What the world is that? What do you always say? What the what?
What the hell is even that? That's where we're sleeping.
That
when
is-
we stay here.
Wow, that's a real bed.
That's incredible.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, it could use a little memory foam, but
Wow.
I'm speechless with that. Haunted, maybe. I hope so. And look at this view. I mean, can you imagine at night, the wind dies down, the skies open up, and you're just sitting out here on your giant log. This guy here, he takes no prisoners. Old 1 Foot McGee. This is the HQ. There's your number. And come through these doors, these terrific carved wooden doors. That's crazy. These are like the original wood watchers right here. I may have been inspired by these faces when I first moved up here because this is looking pretty squatchy. Allie, we've been on a couple adventures. You were hiding away in the last Mima Mounds video. What'd you think of the Mima Mounds?
I felt like heavy. I think I told you. My feet felt heavy out there.
Like weights? Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yeah, like little ankle weights on them.
We didn't have any electronic shit happen.
Yeah, no electronic stuff. They're cool though. They don't make sense.
They don't make sense. Nobody knows who built them. I didn't say burial grounds, but that's been ruled out because they've dug into them. So we're okay to walk on them. So today we're going to be talking about a goddess by the name of Tanit, related to this sighting. But how it is, what did they say, a 12th century Phoenician goddess
Yeah.
who takes many forms? How is she related to what this witness described on a stormy night out near one of the well-known rivers out here in the Olympic Peninsula? I don't know. I don't know how it relates. Let's ask this guy. That's the same look I made when I found the evidence in the sand. Exact same. Wow. So next time you see us, we're going to be at the river. We're going to talk from the beginning about this goddess and this sighting report. We'll take you through the whole steps. What happened a year and a half ago, my conversation with the OP, where it is now, and what we found out since then. Love it. Should we do it?
Let's do it.
Okay. Next stop, Tanitville. This is it. This is the spot where it all happened. Like I said, about a year and 2 months ago. But much has changed, Allie, since last I was here. The road has been diverted with a new bridge. This is a brand new, spick and span, taxpayer funded ultra bridge with some plants. But this was not here there was an event here, Allie, some year and 2 months ago, as I said. And what happened here, according to the OP, the Olympic Project, is they got a report from a guy that got a phone call, and it was around 11:30 at night or something. There was a storm, a big storm. It was wet, windy. It gets that way, especially around, March, February timeframe. And he was saying he pulled into this construction site as they were building this monstrosity, and there was an area here, a pullout, and he answered a phone call. It was kind of like a nothing phone call, so he hopped back on the road, and he said as he came back, and we'll show you, so as he pulled over to this side, in the highway, crossing, I believe, from the riverside up that ridge, he said he saw a black demon, is what he called it. Long arms, kind of like the Trollhaven arms. Mm-hmm. Scurried up, I believe. Don't know where. But he said that the thing had a cloak around it, or a wet towel. Now, it was wet outside, so maybe that's all it was, I don't know, a sheet around a Bigfoot. Like maybe got tangled up in a clothesline. But he said that it was kind of a wet towel wrapped around his body. I don't know if that meant his neck, his shoulders. The witness won't talk about it. But he didn't call it a Bigfoot. He said it was a black demon. I don't know what that means. So I went up there. There's an access road through the woods here. I hiked up there. This was maybe 24 hours later. Didn't see anything, nothing discernible. There was a crushed log that was out of place, like something had passed through and stepped on it. Don't know what that means, but that got me looking like, well, it came from here, so maybe there's evidence. This river here is super well known. You can't fish it, so there's a lot of wildlife. Can't hunt it. There's a ton of elk all through here, and even rumors up here of a Sasquatch nest that was given to me by a forest ranger. I just saw two women walking by.
Yeah, go that way.
Maybe they have secrets.
Maybe.
That could be them. Let's go find out. So a lot has changed. All this is new. This was just grass. Obviously, there's a lot going on here. I don't know what the plan is. Ultimately, it looks like they're going to lay more sod down here. So I went down via the bridge through the grass, down the rocks, and that's when I picked up what appeared to be like a size 11, 12-inch barefooted track. Duck walking, very human looking. The sand was pretty thick, so you couldn't get any real size or discernment of tread pattern. So I just followed them thinking, well, they look like a barefooted person. I mean, it looks like a human walking, but maybe they were in a costume, I don't know. But they were walking away from where the sighting was, underneath that bridge, downriver, out to the straits. So, what does that mean? I didn't know, Allie, I didn't know. So, I followed the tracks, and they led to better tracks, where I began to pick up tread pattern. And they were Vibram-like sandals. And what are Vibram? Well, Vibram are these treads that you can buy on all boots and shoes. Just look for the yellow logo on the bottom of a boot. You may find it. It's a higher quality tread, but they also make 5-toed sandals. Like you can walk on roads like this, like aggressive roads, go paddle boarding. And you just slip your little tootsies inside each of the little finger areas. And some people swear by them. I've seen people hiking in them. That was the first time I'd seen them down here. So I picked up the trail and started following. Now again, this wasn't like this. It was much more open. But they started over here where there's a parking lot. You were just saying something here I hadn't clued into. Allie, what were you saying?
So I was just pointing out that, the fact that we've got the bridge, which is kind of like a transitional space. You've got the moving water of the river. It kind of goes back to the idea that transitional places, especially the fact that it's in the midst of construction, like there seems to be heightened activity or weird things happening. And I mean, I don't know if this was going on when he saw this black demon, but
yeah, kind of, because he pulled over because the bulldozers were parked there, the bulldozers and the excavation equipment. So are you saying like liminal areas here?
Yeah.
A bridge between phases?
Yep.
Synchronicity. Now, before you think we're reaching too far, this is all a part of this journey, like believing is seeing and leaning in on, you know, something poetic like this is the way that you actually end up seeing the unbelievable. It's not as though you have to believe everything. It's just leaning in on the idea of the poetry of the language. And I think that's the way this stuff communicates. So,
got a rusty nail.
Ancient nail from a sarcophagus of the night demon. So the tracks picked up again in the sand, but this river wasn't here, and neither was this diversion point with these logs that have all been placed here by the state. It was just sand, lots of it. And the tracks picked up right here, and they went around that bend into behind those trees. I don't think that's accessible anymore.
Oh, look, there's a little happy face in that one.
Oh yeah,
You see him?
things with faces.
That's pretty clear.
That is very clear. Is that like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Gift. I give gift. You find it, I give it. Now listen, back to these stupid sandals. They went all the way down here to the sand pit, and it drew this image. Now, I didn't even know if I was looking at it at the right angle. All I saw was a circle with two lines and like separate lines and a triangle. And the feet just stopped there. So whoever did it took the time to walk down here, find a sandy spot, very private. I don't know, day or night. So they came through here, Allie, and walked out around this bend. Their little Vibram sandals included. Oh, it's pretty sandy, so this is close to the way it looked.
Yeah.
And as you can see in the photo, they just stopped. You could follow them along, and then they're plainly here, and then you see two hand strikes. You see a circle, and you see an upside down triangle. And then the arms were extended. I didn't know they were arms. And then there was a sprig, like this. And that was it. And then the footprints just walked away. So that was weird. How is that linked to the black demon, though? Well, so like this image, and there's a better one here. We'll get our shadow out of the way. I had to make a phone call. I think I called Sonia Zohar and found out that this is related to the goddess TANIT.
She's a goddess of fertility, and protecting women was a big one for like off the coast of North Africa. And she's seen in symbolism with crescent moons and lions, snakes.
And she's from like the 12th century Phoenician Empire. And what was that other word I keep getting wrong? Carthaginian or
Carthage.
say springs or flowing water.
Yeah, that was
part of like how you honor her.
Yeah, there was a specific name that meant either a spring or like a creek, right?
That's what I remember. So we're just gonna snoop around here. There's some etchings on the rocks that are due to heavy equipment. And so all this stuff, all this earth movement was done by giant heavy equipment. So all these scratches aren't as interesting as I was hoping. So let's see, maybe we'll find some other weird prints. I don't know. I don't know what it all means. I mean, it seems as though it might be related, but is it showing a side of me that is mental weakness? I'll take that if it's true. But maybe we'll find something out here that will be so overwhelming as far as being connected. Like we just saw two people out here walking around. What if they're here for the same reason? What if they're into the occult? Maybe they do goddess worship. I don't know. I'm looking for synchronicity like that. So far, it's kind of been 50-50 out here. It seems like obviously there's people walking through here. We're kind of remote. Can't really hear the river anymore. A spectacular view. The last thing I'll say is that since she is TANIT, supposedly the evening star, the crescent moon, and related to Venus or Saturn in some proximity, we did see a guy by the name of David Kuhn. You'll remember him from the episode where we got the EVP in the field that said water. We didn't talk at great depth about seeing a light here, but we did catch it on video. I stayed the evening till about 11 o'clock, invited him down, and there was an unexplainable light. Now, I don't know if that was Venus. I don't believe it was. The star map, the star chart, I can't remember where we were with that, but it was putting off some color, and it looked way too big and low to be Venus. But maybe it was sneaky Venus. Look at her.
More awkward with it.
Wait a second. You have your shaman spear. Look at you go. We have established that Allie is a sweet person. That's why she needs a shaman stick. All sweeties have them.
Oh, sweeties.
Everybody knows sweeties have shaman sticks. So, Allie, I've got a phone number that called us up about an hour ago. This is a guy that grew up in the occult. He's also ex-friends, because Henry Franzone's passed on, still friends. And he has grown up not only in a house steeped in the occult, but also apparently living with the land spirits. Like, he has supernatural stuff going on in his house 24/7. And he called us. Now, maybe it was related to that, but said we were looking for a synchronicity, and this guy knows a thing or two about TANIT, so let me put him on speaker.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, man. Hey, you're on camera. Is that okay? Hey, we were looking at synchronicity, and when you called, it seemed to be totally within the vein of asking you a question about what I'm on a shoot looking into. And I gave you a little clue here. I mentioned the name of this goddess, TANIT, but the part I didn't tell you is that the reason I found this sigil on the river's bank, written in sand, was of TANIT, come to find out. But it was only reason I was down here, bro, was because there was a sighting 24 hours prior of a witness that said he saw a cloaked black demon with draping arms walking across Highway 101. And that's what led me looking for, said maybe Bigfoot tracks, but this guy never said that. He said black demon. And then I, 24 hours later, find this symbolism of this goddess who has many phases, many shapes.
She was. She's in the same boat as Ishtar and Juno and all those. She's a Carthaginian goddess. She was the basically the main goddess of Carthage, as in the ruling goddess.
Let me ask you this. Would somebody come down here and perform a ritual to invoke her and awaken like a egregore or some kind of physical image of a hybrid goddess?
Well, it kind of depends on what they were doing. Now, the other thing is keep in mind when rituals are performed in certain areas, if you don't kind of gate off the area, and what I mean by that, as in like, there's a thing that they call calling corners. What that is that's meant to seal in the area so you don't bring anything else in or let anything else out. Okay. So if you are doing the ritual improperly, you could invoke almost anything.
would it be of interest for someone to walk down here, draw an effigy of TANIT? Would it be in their interest to do so in a quartz-rich beach with river flowing by it?
Wow, that's like what's the word I'm looking for here? Basically, that's like juicing it. Like literally, you're like doing it on a battery. So you know you don't have to really expend much of yours. You're using the energy of the area, and that's way more powerful than what you can normally put out on your own.
Oh no.
What?
I found an image of TANIT. So Allie, you've had some time to process today. We're closing out this episode. Overall, is this in my mind? Did I make too much of this? Is it an impressionable dude seeing too much in the world, or what do you think?
I mean, I think it's interesting that you stumbled upon that carving in the sand, and I don't think that it's a coincidence that it led you to looking into that.
You think it's related at all to
Could
said
be.
witness testimony?
Could be.
We just don't know, folks. All we know is that we're here at the lake. It's a little choppy. We wanted to close it out with the still waters, but you're not that kind of crowd that needs still waters. You're a rowdy bunch. And so, from Crescent Lake to our next legend out here, believe it or not, there is a legend of another female goddess type figure, the Lady of the Lake of Crescent Lake. Someday, soon, perhaps, we'll talk more about that. But for now, the world of TANIT, you be the judge. I don't know if this is over. Maybe there's more information down the road. Maybe the witness will come forward. In fact, if you're watching this, said anonymous witness, we know that you're scared about what you saw. It sounds freaky as hell. But watch the last episode. Like, there's people that see freaky stuff. You're not the only one. So that's it. Thanks, Allie, for doing this. It's always good to have
Thank you.
my compatriot.
See you next time.
See you next time, and we'll see you in the trees.